Boa tarde, salamat sore, surwa diumso, namaskar, good afternoon, and magandang gabi from the Philippines. Welcome to the UN Decade of Family Farming and ComDevAsia campaign launch on resilient family farming, ensuring food for all in a sustainable planet. I
Boa
am
tarde,
JM from the University of
salamat
the
sore,
Philippines, Los Baños, College
surwa
of Development
diumso,
Communication, and I have the
namaskar,
pleasure to be
good
your program host
afternoon,
for today.
and magandang gabi from the Philippines. Welcome to the UN Decade of Family
This event
Farming
is
and
not only
ComDev
timely
Asia
and
campaign
relevant,
launch on
it is
resilient
probably what
family
we can
farming,
say a much needed
ensuring food for
communication
all.
campaign to support our family farmers in Asia. We would like to acknowledge the presence of our partners and members of the ComDev Asia Steering Committee who have joined us tonight in Zoom, as well as our guest speakers whom we will hear from in a very short while. We're also live on the ComDev Asia Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. We wish to welcome all our participants in our live streaming. Feel free to share this live stream to your friends and colleagues and let us know where you're from by posting it in the comment section. You can also say where your highs, your hellos, and your well wishes to our family farmers wherever you are in the world. We also request our participants to answer a very short survey at the end of the program. The link will be shared later to the group chat for our Zoom participants and to the comment section for our participants tuning in on Facebook Live. And to make all our voices heard and to show our support to all our family farmers, let us all use the hashtag resilient family farming in our social media posts. We are honored to have with us this afternoon the Chief of Family Farming Partnership with Civil Society Organizations Unit of the UN Food and Agriculture Organization Office for Partnership and Capacity Development. He is a specialist in public policies and governmental management from the National School of Public Administration in Brazil and holds a master's degree in environmental policy and management from the University of Carlos III in Madrid, Spain. To give us the opening remarks, let us all welcome Mr. Guilherme Brady.
Thanks so much, Jim. I'm very honored to be here. Thanks for the invitation to this great initiative that can bring a fantastic contribution to the UN Decade on Family Farming. The UN Decade, as you know, calls for the world's attention on the fundamental role of family farming in ensuring food security and healthy diets, contributing to sustainable use of natural resources and to improve the livelihoods of rural people and resiliency, especially in the context of crisis. It's important to reaffirm the relevance of the UN Decade on Family Farming, also in the Asia and the Pacific region, which is home to 74% of the world's family farmers. So Asia is the core of family farming around the world. The current global COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted agriculture and food systems around the world, depending on the mitigation measures that were in place. And to mitigate the pandemic's impact across the food system, both global and country-specific interventions are necessary. Measures meant to preserve the global food supply chain need to be complemented with context-specific solutions, harnessing available resources and goods. Family farmers in the Asian and the Pacific region have already proven their capacity to develop new strategies and provide innovative responses to emerging social, environmental, and economic issues. We noted the very active role that the family farmers organizations play now during the crisis, bringing new services, finding solutions to their members. Several countries in the region are working to leverage on this potential, adopting policies and investments to support family farming in rural areas, advancing their entrepreneurial and innovation capacity, as well as new rural services. Together with the commitment of governments of the region, we have to acknowledge the paramount contribution that family farmers organizations are giving to the United Nations Decade of Family Farming process and to the family farmers themselves by providing emergency responses to preserve their members' health and to facilitate their access to services to deal with the pandemic. And communication is essential to meet the UNDFF objectives. It can raise public awareness of the important role of family farmers to achieve food security and the sustainable development goals. It involves stakeholders to dialogue and take concerted action to improve policies and programs. It allows sharing of knowledge and information. It can increase access to development opportunities. So ensuring inclusive access to rural communication services is key to advance family farming policies and programs and to optimize all the resources and investments in the sector. Rural communication services have a strong role to play in our context of a digital era, being possibly one of the most needed innovation areas in policies. There is strong evidence that both rural vulnerable groups in poverty is not just related to access to income and economic opportunities, but it's also related. Poverty is connected with the lack of access to information, lack of access to services, lack of access to policies. Family farmers organizations have been actively supporting the access to these services, and rural areas need a more active promotion of policies and programs to increase their access to communication services, including the needed infrastructure for these services. The UN Decade on Family Farming Global Action Plan recognized the role of communication for family farming and the need to enhance local capacities in this field, jointly with the importance to establish solid partnerships among communication facilities and networks and rural institutions and family farmers organizations. The promotion of partnerships and capacity building in communication is the main goal of ComDevAsia initiative that today offers the collaborative framework for this communication campaign that we are launching today. It can bring a better understanding from our societies on the role that family farmers play in rural development and for sustainable food systems, and to ensure our healthy diets. It can help to increase family farming in the policy agenda at national level, giving a great contribution to the development of the national plans on family farming. That is one of the main targets of the UN Decade on Family Farming. We need to reach 100 national plans by 2024. It can inform family farmers about the development of these national action plans at their countries and how they can contribute to it. So we look forward to the results of the campaign, as well as to a successful development of the ComDevAsia initiative to promote innovative communication approaches and solutions for family farmers and their organizations in the Asia and the Pacific region. I take this opportunity to thank you all the partners involved in this effort for their commitment to this important undertaking. Well done, and count on us to continue on this. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you for that very wonderful message, Mr. Brady. True enough, the campaign and the provision of rural communication services are most relevant today, especially since our family farmers need support as frontliners in our current global situation. To move forward in our program, our guest speaker is a senior communication officer at the UN Food and Agriculture Organization Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific based in Bangkok, Thailand. He is an experienced communication officer with a demonstrated history of working in the international affairs industry. He also holds a Master of Arts degree in Mass Communication, Media Studies from University of Leicester. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Mr. Alan Doe.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Very kind of you. I see you've been looking at my LinkedIn page, I guess. This is where we get all these things these days. Anyway, this is a very important initiative, as my other UN colleague mentioned. And at FAO, of course, we take the issue of food security and the issue of family farming. And as pointed out, family farmers, provide the majority of food to us. So we take it very seriously. A couple of the things I just wanted to talk about here is, the UNDFF, the timing, you could look at it two ways. The timing could almost have been worse, or it could never have been better. It's almost a double-edged sword when you look at the timing from 2019. Who would have known that we would have been in this situation that we're in now? And that, of course, the most vulnerable people are, in many cases, are the people who are bringing us our food, the family farmers and the smallholders and the fishers and the herders. Let me just go to some of my notes. I hope you don't mind just for a minute here, but I was just sort of making a few notes just before we came on here. And as I said, it's almost a double-edged sword. And so the campaign to advocate for family farmers and fishers and herders and others, pastoralists in this region, is now more important than ever. And safeguarding the food security, as I mentioned, for these people, it's in all our best interests. And it's such a vast region too. It's a dynamic region, but it's one of the poorest. It has some of the poorest countries in the world as well. So this is, this pandemic has really, in some ways, made the situation even more, how should I say, desperate. But on the other hand, it's come along at a time where we can leverage that to point out to the world just how important these people are who bring us the food that we eat each day. Anyway, on the more negative side, the pandemic has plunged us into acute health and economic crises. Severity has not been seen, as we know, for about a century. The socioeconomic impact, as the Secretary General and the FAO Director General and others and our chief economists have been saying, is going to likely unfold for years to come. So the crisis risks halting and reversing progress on poverty eradication and on gender equality and food security, as I mentioned, and the other sustainable development goals. 2030, it's only 10 years from now. And we were already backsliding, as I think many of you will know. And so this just makes it that much more critical to get back on track. I think, as mentioned, there are 500 million family farmers, and I think my colleague said 74% of them are in this region. And a vast majority of the land that is owned here by these smallholder farmers in this region is less than 5 hectares. So we're talking about millions of farmers who, excuse me, are basically poor and are managing very small land plots. Having said that, let's say a harvest of the harvest they take in, colleagues have calculated that the family would need about 25% of that food for their own sustenance, and yet has a surplus of maybe 75% that can be that can be sold on the markets. Yet they still struggle, and they still often are mired in poverty themselves. And we know that many smallholder farmers now have a lot more of off-farm income. So they're not just making their living from farming, but they have to find other ways to bolster their own finances at home. Anyway, so this campaign is calling it's calling on the people of the region. It's calling on family farmers. It's calling on all of us to play a role in this and to recognize the importance of the food that the work that they do. And it also, brings us, the campaign should also focus on the value of food. A lot of people don't understand the value of food, the work that goes into it, the sweat and the toil and the time and the effort, and how that can all be blown away by a flood or a drought. Or a cyclone or a typhoon. So these things all need to be part of the campaign, and I'm glad that you're looking at a lot of these things. I want to just wrap up by giving you some encouraging words that, FAO has been your partner. I know Esther and some of the others of you for many years now, and you can count on us to do our part. We're partners with you just as much as we can be. And don't be shy, reach out. So let me just conclude by saying thank you for inviting me, and I really wish you the best of luck in this campaign. Back to you. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much for the very inspiring message, Alan. Before we proceed to the program, we would just like to read a few greetings from our subscribers on Facebook and on YouTube. Let's begin with our subscribers on Facebook. So we are being viewed by Professor Elaine Rena from the UPLB College of Development Communication, and Almark Asia Pacific is also watching. Luis from the Philippines, hello. We also have a viewer from the Philippines, Miss Mara Joy Nanglegan. Welcome. And then also another from the Philippines, from Jerry Bayon Luceño. Welcome. And from Indonesia, from the Indonesian Peasant Alliance, or the Indonesian National Committee for Family Farming, Ika Krishnayanti. Thank you for joining us today. And from Nepal, Kushimaya Gurung from Lamjung, Nepal. We're very happy and honored that you could join us today. Now, just like what Alan mentioned, the campaign on resilient family farming is ComDevAsia's contribution to the United Nations Decade of Family Farming, or the UNDFF, which will be discussed to us in more detail by our next speaker. Our next speaker, for several years, he has led FAO work in ComDevAsia, in providing assistance to governments, institutions, community media, and family organizations in the design and implementation of participatory communication strategies and services. He holds a PhD in Sustainable Rural Development, Master in Sociology of Communication, and degree in Social Anthropology. Let us all welcome the team leader of the FAO Communication for Development Team, Partnerships Division, Dr. Mario Acunzo.
Hello, good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure for me being here with you. I hope you can hear me. Well, I want to be brief and I want to tackle a couple of points. Okay, the Decade of Family Farming builds on the results of the International Year of Family Farming 2014. Both the International Year of Family Farming and the Decade of Family Farming are the result of, let's say, the push, the energy, and the willingness of many different actors. FAO and IFAD are facilitating an international secretariat for the Decade of Family Farming, but beyond this coordination at the UN level, there are all the efforts of, especially of family farmers organization that have been promoting these on the policy agenda and the agenda of the international level. So the Decade of Family Farming was launched in 2019. Previous to that, there was a long process of discussion and agreement about the action plan that would be the backbone for this initiative. This implied a long consultation in different regions, especially with the family farmers organization. The Global Action Plan includes 7 pillars with several let's say, key dimension of the agricultural and sustainable development, among which I want to highlight those that are from the economic to the social to the environmental. A key role is being identified, especially for the youth, especially for women, and especially also for producer organizations. So really local people, rural people, jointly with the institution have a role, but let's say the future of family farmer is in the end of family farmers themselves. Their capacity also is to speak out and to interact with government and to have a dialogue proposing adequate policies, investments, and services. So these 3 are really the targets of the Decade of Family Farming. So producing a policy change allowing better services and allowing the participation. So throughout the process, a number of national committees have been established in several countries that are really the soul of the decade of family farming. Those contribute and actively discuss with the governments the implementation of the Global Action Plan through national action plans. So several countries in Asia are adopting this national action plan for family farming. I can mention Nepal, I can mention Indonesia, that already are advanced in this process. I can mention the Philippines, that is in the process of developing its own action plan. So these action plans are shaped up according to this dialogue between farmers' organizations and the governments and institutions based on national priority or national needs. This is very flexible and should be very participatory. Now I want to focus on another dimension. I mean, I want to say that the global action plan of the decade of family farming also identifies among the main pillars. I already mentioned the enhancement of the capacity of farmers organization and having them at the center of the policy dialogue and the policy formulation. Also, another dimension is key: the communication, as that has been mentioned by previous speakers, by Guilherme and by Alan. Communication is acknowledged as a center element. So under the pillar 4, the pillar that is focusing on enhancing family farmers organizations capacity, communication is identified as a strategic asset. Under three dimensions. The one is a relation to promoting rural communication services. This is a definition that we will be hearing about consistently throughout the campaign. And this implies the generation, the design and negotiation of ad hoc farmer-led communication services to provide access to the most vulnerable farmer and services in their own languages, according to their culture, according to their needs, and involving directly the organization in implementation of these services. The other is developing ad hoc capacities, both in rural institutions and farmers' organization, to plan and manage communication processes. So, and the third one is to give the voice to family farmers. So family farmers have to be the one to speak out and really make clear what family farmers themselves needs. So nobody else can speak on their behalf. No? This is the basic idea. So consistently in line with this approach, that this is really part of the core of the Global Action Plan for the decade, a strategic approach to the operationalization of this approach, of this communication dimension of the action plan, has been the promotion of regional communication plans, participatory communication plans, so to say. So meaning that these three key dimensions to be really operationalized with involvement of local actors, with the facilitating knowledge sharing and understanding and collaboration for defining communication priorities to bring the action plan forward. And to do so, this regional action plan have been built and are being facilitated by regional initiatives, I would say communication partnerships. So there are three main regional communication partnerships in the field of communication for family farming. And the one for Asia is ComDevAsia. We will hear more from the other speaker about that. My main take of this in relation to the UNDFF is this: really communication has to be acknowledged as an asset in promoting family farming and in the many different dimensions of the family farming. And thanks God, we have a participatory communication plan for this decade, also for Asia. So there is already a platform, a multi-stakeholder platform that involves organization, that involves community media, communication networks, UN. This is focusing on implementing these three main priorities of the UNDFF around communication. Once more, communication is an asset, communication is a right. We can talk along about communication, but we are pleased to say that today we start a new process where communication is really in the hands also of family farmers, and we are building the decade of family farming through a real dialogue. I'm very glad to be here, and I'm very, very happy that we start this campaign. This is just the first step of these participatory communication plans for the Asia region and in support of the decade of family farming. Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Mario, for explaining the UN Decade of Family Farming and also for highlighting many important points of the decade, especially the dimension on participatory communication. Now, to tell us more about the ComDevAsia regional initiative, let me introduce you to our next speaker. She is an associate professor and currently the dean of the UPLB College of Development Communication, where she also obtained her Bachelor of Science, Master of Science, and Doctor of Philosophy in Development Communication, minor in Strategic Planning and Policy Studies. Join me as I welcome the ComDevAsia Regional Facilitator, Dr. Maria Stella Tirol.
Thank you, JM. A pleasant day to everyone and cheerful smiles to all of us who are participating in this campaign launch despite the COVID-19. To introduce you to our ComDevAsia initiative, let us watch this AVP presentation. Chad, please.
ComDevAsia is a regional initiative that promotes communication for development, or ComDev, in the Asia-Pacific region. It seeks to build ComDev capacities and support rural communication policy and services. ComDevAsia supports the implementation of a regional participatory communication plan within the framework of the United Nations Decade of Family Farming. It encourages participatory communication and the local appropriation of information and communication technologies to advance family farming. The ComDevAsia initiative is promoted by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, or FAO. Family farmers in the Asia-Pacific are the backbone of food systems and biodiversity management and conservation. But they continue to face economic and social challenges due to emerging crises such as the COVID pandemic and climate change. To address these challenges, ComDevAsia is geared to support resilient families along 3 priority activities identified in the UNDFF communication framework. These include participatory communication, inclusive rural communication services and policies, and enhanced communication capacities of farmers and producers organizations. ComDevAsia includes a web platform, comdevasia.org. The platform intends to be a dynamic and interactive community of practice that facilitates dialogue, strengthens collaboration, and advocates for the role of communication in agriculture and rural development. It is an interactive hub helping institutions and professionals in Asia-Pacific to connect, share lessons learned, document impact, explore new partnership opportunities, or strengthen existing alliances. On the ComDevAsia web platform, users can learn about regional experiences and good practices on family farming, rural communication services, enhanced communication capacities, and activities or events of ComDevAsia. Get news and updates on what's going on in ComDev in Asia-Pacific in times of COVID-19 and beyond. Access useful resources and multimedia materials to support local initiatives and communication campaigns, such as UNDFF. Submit and share stories on resilient family farming and related topics. and interact with other members of the community. ComDevAsia is governance based on a steering committee that includes communication entities and networks, academic institutions, family farmers organizations, and the UN. It partners with the Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Development, World Association of Community Radio Broadcasters, Digital Green, Self-Employed Women's Association, UP Los Baños College of Development Communication or UPLB-CDC, and the Food and Agriculture Organization or FAO. ComDevAsia supports a network of communication practitioners from academia, government, non-government organizations, and regional or local community media, as well as a network of producers organizations with designated focal points who will contribute content to the web platform. CDA is being facilitated by UPLB-CDC.
Let's now hear it from our next speaker who will present the UNDFF ComDev Asia campaign on resilient family farming. He is a graduate of Bachelor of Science and Master of Science in Development Communication and is currently working as a University Extension Specialist at the UPLB College of Development Communication. Let us all welcome the Computer Graphics Specialist of ComDev Asia, Mr. Joseph Lijo Roble, or as we call him, Chad.
Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to everyone who's watching. What you're about to see next is a short video that talks about the campaign. So enjoy.
In 2019, the Food and Agriculture Organization and the International Fund for Agricultural Development launched the United Nations Decade of Family Farming, or UNDFF, 2019 to 2028. Guided by its global action plan, the campaign aims to boost support for family farmers in developing countries. To strategically implement the communication activities of the UNDFF, representatives of farmer organizations, community networks, and FAO communication specialists agreed on a participatory communication plan for Asia. As a response to the global pandemic, the UNDFF ComDevAsia is conducting a regional strategic communication campaign addressed to family farmers and the general public. To this end, 2 multimedia communication packages have been developed, including campaign materials for the general public and a set of campaign materials for family farmers, each covering 6 themes. Economics and food systems, biodiversity, environment and culture, gender and youth, nutrition and health, sanitation and safety, policies, services, and organization. For the general public, the campaign materials include posters, infographics, and public service announcements.
The COVID-19 pandemic brought challenges in our access to nutritious food. To address this, we can use the help of family farmers.
These materials are available for download via the ComDevAsia website. For the family farmers, community radio broadcast materials are produced. These are to be translated into local dialect and broadcasted in community radio stations of the World Association of Community Radio Broadcasters in Asia Pacific. To access these materials, go to comdevasia.org and select the campaign materials you want right at the home page. This will take you to a download page. Simply click on the appropriate download button, for the file that you need. The campaign materials may also be downloaded by the ComDevAsia Steering Committee members and community stakeholders from the ComDevAsia Steering Committee Google Drive. ComDevAsia partners and other institutions may seek permission to access this Google Drive from the ComDevAsia College of Development Communication team via the email at comdevasia@devcom.edu.ph. When sharing these materials, everyone is highly encouraged to use these hashtags. In addition, please refer the stakeholders to the ComDevAsia website, Facebook, and Twitter for additional information about the campaign. An evaluation of the campaign will likewise be implemented through these channels.
And that's it for the video. Thank you very much. Back to you, JM.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chad, for sharing the video that explains the ComDevAsia campaign. Let me just acknowledge some of our participants who are tuning in on Facebook and on YouTube. Sona Katik, thank you for joining us. From Nepal, Rabin Rai, the General Secretary of the Central Sea Cooperative Federation Limited of Nepal. Thank you. Also from Kathmandu, Prakriti Vista from Amark City Regional Office. Thank you for joining us. Govinda Dahal says, good afternoon and namaste. This is Govinda Dahal, Chairman of the Central Sea Cooperative Federation, CPCF of Nepal. The Asia Pacific Farmers is also watching us. And we also have another greeter, Namaste, says Chandrakala Katri from Radio Sindhu, Sindhupalchok, Nepal. Thank you. Now, to proceed to our program, definitely this campaign would not have been possible without the passion, dedication, strong support, and concerted efforts of all the members of the ComDevAsia initiative. We have invited representatives from each of our steering committee member organizations to give a short message. First, from the Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Rural Development, or AFA, we are joined by their Secretary General, Ms. Maria Estrella Penuña, or Esther to her colleagues. She has spent more than 3 decades of professional years in the field of rural development, working with farmers, fishers, and indigenous people sectors in various capacities. In 2014, FAO appointed her as Special Ambassador for the International Year of Family Farming. Let's all give a virtual applause to the Secretary General of AFA, Ms. Esther Penuña.
Okay.
Magsasalita na ako?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Hi, hello. Good evening to everyone. I am Esther Penuña from the Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Rural Development. I am from the Philippines, but our organization, AFA, is a membership organization with 20 national farmer organizations as members in 16 countries, comprising 13 million small-scale family farmers who are engaged in crops, livestock, forestry, fishing, herding, and pastoralism. And we have women, men, and youth and indigenous peoples in our constituency. I would have wanted to join you by Zoom, but I am joining via my mobile phone because right now I am challenged with internet difficulties. But we want to say in AFA that we are happy that AFA is a part and is a steering committee member of ComDevAsia. What is AFA has been at the as the actor first the International Year of Family Farming 2014 And then in the declaration of the UN Decade of Family Farming, we have been working closely with the World Rural Forum, which spearheaded the call and the advocacy for the UN Decade of Family Farming. And what we want in UN Decade of Family Farming are policies and programs that will affect the conditions of family farmers, family farmers choosing really to stay in their farm because they know that family farming will give them decent living conditions, decent life for their family and for the family. So we are very glad that the campaign launch is being done, or the campaign launch for ComDevAsia is being done under the auspices, under the framework of the UN Decade on Family Farming. And now, this is doubly significant because we are still reeling from a pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting us, family farmers, while climate change is still affecting us, COVID-19. And in the communications globally, there is always this messaging that family farmers are one of the most vulnerable in climate change. But we want to also somehow change that narrative, especially in terms of communication. We want to communicate that family farmers are food heroes and are frontliners to the work of providing healthy and nutritious food to strengthen our immunity and resistance to disease and sickness. Because all over Asian Pacific, family farmers, through our organization, have conducted campaign awareness on COVID-19, have distributed food packs to our most vulnerable members, have established farmers market and online shops to bring fresh and healthy produce to urban consumers, especially the urban poor, and have partnered with government agencies in massive food production campaigns. And we are very hopeful that our partnership with ComDevAsia will bring out this kind of narrative. We will be able to voice out this role and contribution of family farmers in responding to COVID-19 and in building back better, having a new normal, which is sustainable and resilient. And we are very happy that in ComDevAsia, we are partners with AMARC, and we hope that our community radio systems will be sent through this partnership. We are hopeful that our communication strategies at the national level with our members and partners in 16 countries will be more established and developed through this ComDevAsia. Through this ComDevAsia knowledge platform, we in AFA hope to reach out to various stakeholders, including our members and IFA and shop. Through this platform, we will be able to show our struggles, hope, successes, and through this platform, we can develop stronger in promoting our roles and initiatives on building back better towards a more resilient, sustainable new normal in agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Esther, for the message and also for sharing your work and advocacy at AFA. Now to hear from the World Association of Community Broadcasters, or AMARC, we are joined by their Asia Pacific Regional Director, Mr. Suman Basnet. Mr. Suman works closely with community broadcasters and advocates of freedom of expression to promote people's right to broadcast, to strengthen and strategize for people's participation, and to promote sustainability of community radio. Let us all welcome from AMARC, Mr. Suman Basnet.
Thank you very much, Jim. Dear participants, partners from UNFAO, the College of Development Communication, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Asian Farmers Association, Digital Green, fellow stakeholders from the ComDevAsia platform, community radio broadcasters, and all friends. Firstly, on behalf of Amark Asia Pacific, I wish to thank you all for joining us in this very important event. I would like to recall, for those of you who are not very familiar with AMARC, AMARC actually is the French acronym of the World Association of Community Radio Broadcasters. Its Asia Pacific office is actually based here in Kathmandu. That's where I'm speaking to you from right now. We have about approximately 1,000 members in the Asia Pacific region, and these are mostly community radios. In my remarks here today, given the constraint of time, I'll be as brief as possible, and I'll only say what I really want to share with you today in this occasion. While I'm speaking, I would also like to share some of my slides with you, just to put in visually, put in context into a certain perspective, or to help you draw a picture of what I'm talking about. So please allow me to share my slides with you. Okay, so I would like to start by saying that today is a momentous day for community radios in the Asia Pacific region. As it is clear from the previous speakers, the launching of the Family Farming Communication Campaign today on the occasion of the UN Decade of Family Farming has several dimensions, including a very strong component of community broadcasting. The campaign is targeting to reach out to at least 1 million family farmers across the Asia Pacific region with life-saving messages. The campaign will talk to local family farming communities across a very diverse Asia Pacific region in local languages and dialects with messages that cater to local concerns, needs, questions, and sensitivities. However, the reason I wish to term today's event as a momentous time is because this is one of the most serious efforts to bring family farming communities closer to community broadcasting in terms of participation and access. Community radios are more than just about messages and information. A community radio is directly linked to people's possibility of speaking, expressing, questioning, and disagreeing as well. Community radios are about giving a voice to those who most likely do not have any other means of expression and communication, and to give them the possibility of engaging in dialogues and being part of policy discussions. In this regard, linking community radios to family farming communities and individual farmer is indeed a momentous event. Amark Asia Pacific, one of the stakeholders of ComDevAsia, is taking forward this task of reaching out to family farmers by mobilizing member stations in countries of Asia Pacific region, including Bangladesh, Bhutan, East Timor, India, Indonesia, and Nepal, through a very well-coordinated community radio campaign involving several other stakeholders at local and national levels. Partner community radio stations in the selected countries will in turn mobilize community-based organizations, local government and non-governmental offices, as well as other relevant stakeholders to ensure that a collective support is extended to the family farmers in the coverage areas of the partner radios. This specific campaign aims at reaching out to approximately 1 million listeners that mainly include communities of family farmers. So with that, I wish to conclude my remarks here. I'll stop sharing the slides with you here. Once again, welcome. Congratulations, I think, to all of us for this momentous launching today. And I greet you once again on behalf of Amark Asia Pacific. And I'm looking forward to working with you all together in this campaign. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Suman, for sharing the information about Amark Asia Pacific and its contribution to the ComDevAsia initiative. And finally, from Digital Green, we are joined by their Director of Programs, Mr. Avinash Upadhyay. Mr. Avinash is deeply interested in sustainable agriculture and the use of technology to promote nutrition, to enhance agricultural productivity and the quality of life of rural communities. In over 18 years of work experience, he managed programs in sustainable rural livelihood, extension education, maternal, infant, and young child nutrition, nutrition-sensitive agriculture, and market linkages of many rural producers in more than 10 countries in South and Southeast Asia and in the sub-Saharan Africa. Please join me as I welcome from Digital Green, Mr. Avinash Upadhyay.
Thank you so much, Jem, for the introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear participants. So I will just quickly start my message. I will give you a quick introduction about digital green and share digital green's perspective and the role in the UN Decade of Family Farming campaign. Before that, just wanted to quickly say that I'm very, very happy today because we have come to this stage after so much of discussion in last few months. So that's like pretty exciting for me to participate and talk about digital green and where we are aiming for. That's excellent, and congrats to the team. Okay, so now about Digital Green as an organization, what we do. So typically, just to give like a little bit of background so everybody understands what I am talking about. So basically, we partner with existing government public extension systems that are already working with farmers and training them on ways to increase their productivity with better inputs and agronomic practices. So what we do then is to train these organizations to produce short 8 to 12-minute videos in local language. Those are by the farmers and for the farmers, and use those videos to train other farmers more efficiently. In this whole thing, our main goal is to build the capacity of the local extension agents to produce the videos and facilitate the offline screenings using mobile projectors to small group of farmers, typically 20 to 25 in the villages. While doing this, we also collect data and feedback on what practices the farmers are getting exposed to what questions they have, what are the practices they are adopting or they don't adopt. And all this data and feedback is collected and used for further production of new videos. We started 10 years ago as a part of Microsoft research project in Bangalore in India in the year 2006. And we did almost 3 years controlled evaluation to find the efficacy of the digital green community video model. And finally, in 2009, we spin off as an independent organization. And presently, we have presence in several countries across Asia and sub-Saharan Africa, focusing on agriculture, health, and other development dimensions. And
Mr. Avinash, I think we lost you. Mr. Avinash, can you hear me?
In 10 years of existence, we're working with because
Is Mr. Avinash still with us? Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello,
Yeah,
can
we
you hear
hear
me?
you now. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry,
You're good
I
now.
was,
Okay.
okay, sorry for that. I was disconnected. So almost like 15,000 outreach workers we are working, and we have produced more than 6,000 community videos in more than 35 different languages. And the interesting fact is like our community videos over YouTube is like a big hit, and we have almost 60 million hits for this community videos. We also produce a lot of these 2 to 3 minute smaller videos suitable for messenger platforms like WhatsApp and other similar platforms. So that's like a quick introduction about Digital Green. I would request guests and others to visit www.digitalgreen.org to understand our work, read success stories around community video, and refer communication and training materials in different languages which can be used. You can also search YouTube for a lot of community videos in different languages which you can be used for relevant. Now, finally, I wanted to talk about quickly about Digital Green's perspective on this platform and the role it's aiming to play. The first thing is, like I mentioned, in a decade, we have gathered so much of experience on participatory video communication platform, especially with the large government missions in different countries, which has helped us to understand the dynamics. We have been able to create a repository of contents. We have developed expertise in training and capacity building, refined quality assurance processes, and we are pretty happy and excited to use this experience and the farmer base that we are already working with for the Decade of Family Farming ComDevAsia platform. I think that would be like a good starting point for us because we have such a big base. We strongly feel that our experience will overall enhance the resilience of family farmers through adequate information on practices, especially in the times of COVID-19 and of course beyond. We have pretty good experience in particularly documented various contents and practices ranging from climate resilient solutions to nutrition sensitive agriculture and so on. So in the beginning, with all this experience, what we are looking for is maybe large scale dissemination in places where we are already working, like for example, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, where we have a large base in Asia context and Pacific context, where we have presence, but definitely would look forward to extend the support in replicating efforts and building capacity of our fellow country partners in scaling the video-based communication platform. We also strongly believe that the expertise of different organizations on various communication solutions ranging from video, audio, and other digital solutions can definitely bring a sea change among the farmers during the decade. So we will look forward to further explore with the partners and see how best we can complement and blend the solutions to create best fit hybrid solutions, country specific solutions, extension solutions, because that's what very important at this hour. So we will be working in that direction. That needs a lot of effort, a lot of understanding, study each other's strategy of dealing with the community and the extension system. And while doing this, we will definitely able to create a lasting impact, which we are aiming for. So with this, because I have a short time, I stop here. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I will be looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Avinas, for your passion and for sharing your advocacy to promote sustainable agriculture. And of course, we would like to extend our gratitude and early congratulations to all our partners who have actively supported the ComDevAsia initiative. It is indeed an honor working with all of you. And now to formally close the program, I would like to invite back to the screen the ComDevAsia Regional Facilitator, Dr. Maria Stella Tirol.
Thank you, JM. Okay. Today, we have officially launched the UNDFF ComDevAsia Communication Campaign with the theme Resilient Family Farming, Ensuring Food for All in a Sustainable Planet. This campaign seeks to support family farmers to become resilient at all times. The pandemic has disrupted the farming activities and livelihoods of many of our farmers, but we believe that they will be able to gain their resiliency if we give them the opportunities. The campaign promotes understanding of the role of family farmers in food security. It seeks to create awareness about family farming. We link our family farmers to communication services and policies, enhance their communication capacities, and give them the voice so they can share their stories and experience. We have uploaded the campaign package and materials in the ComDevAsia website. This is because we would like everybody to participate in sharing the campaign messages in the Asia Pacific region. Your participation in this campaign will help us reach out to our family farmers not only during this pandemic, but at all times. For our next campaign activities, we plan to provide additional messages for the general public and for family farmers. We will involve our farmer and producer organizations in a series of webinars for them to interact and share their stories relevant to resilient family farming. Their stories will be uploaded in the ComDevAsia website so that others can learn from their experiences. At this point, I would like to say that we are deeply grateful to the United Nations Decade for Family Farming and the Food and Agriculture Organization for this opportunity to be involved with our family farmers. Our deepest gratitude goes also to our steering committee members for their strong support. My hats off to the UPLB College of Development Communication for their hard work and commitment to ComDevAsia. Most especially, I am truly appreciative of the participants who have attended this campaign launch. May we continue to become partners in our advocacy for resilient family farming. I quote Albert Einstein, "Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you have to keep moving. So let us keep on moving to support resilient family farming, not only at this time of the pandemic, but at all times." Congratulations and thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Stella. Before we end, I would just like to acknowledge for the very last time here in our live streaming, those who tuned in on Facebook and on YouTube, Vidu, Yasta, and all our colleagues from the College of Development Communication. Thank you for joining and for watching us through our streaming. We once again would like to thank our speakers, our partners, and everyone who joined us on Facebook and YouTube. And we would like to hear from all of you. A link to the short survey has been posted through chat and on the comment section. Please click on the link and answer the survey before you go or towards the end of the program. We also encourage everyone to visit our website, www.comdevasia.org. So just like what Dr. Stella said a while ago, you can access all the materials that could enrich our linkages and extend their support to our Asian family farmers. We can also stay connected to our social media sites on Facebook, like us at https://facebook.com/ComDevAsia2020. And on Twitter, you can also follow us at ComDevAsia2019. We hope our family farmers will be able to use the campaign materials, and we call on everyone who supports the advocacy to advance resilient family farming to share materials to your friends and colleagues using the hashtag resilient family farming. Thank you everyone for attending and for showing your support to our family farmers. See you next time. Let's keep in touch. Stay healthy, stay safe. Good night.
Thank you, Stella. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, everyone. It's really well organized.